You are listening to the Profitable Content Creator Podcast. This is the place where content creators come to learn how to create profitable content that positions themselves as an authority and grows their online businesses. Get ready to take your content to a whole new level with your host, Kristen Poborski.
Well, hello there. Welcome to today's topic. I'm going to talk to you about why you're not consistent with your content creation efforts. So after working with thousands of students in my Right Content at the Right Time program, I've seen a lot of, including myself, ways that content creators get tripped up. And the hardest thing that I see for everybody, and including myself, is getting that habit down where you create content and actually show up and do it. Not just once, twice, but consistently. And gosh, you know what? It's really hard to be consistent. And you know what? Here's the deal. Of the students and my clients who succeed and really rock and roll, they're not creating perfect content. They're not overproducing. They're not just worrying about it. They're the ones that make the decision up here, the decision to actually do it and commit to it. And sometimes they start out really slowly, only doing one or two a month, but they do it and they show up and they're consistent and they do it at a specific time. See, the reality is that creating content, it truly can be overwhelming. Most of my students go through the typical process of, oh my gosh, I've got a great content plan. They start out getting really excited because, I help them create this process, their plan. And then they go through this kind of, after a while, they go thinking, oh boy. Then they start thinking, second guessing themselves and saying, wait, is this actually valuable? How do I know this is valuable? Maybe I should think of another topic. And this is the thing that they get into, this sort of cycle that trips them up and gets them in on the sidelines, or keeps them on the sidelines, worrying instead of getting into action. And here's the truth. The only way that you're going to know if something works is to put it out there. Let me repeat myself. The only way you're going to know if your content works is to get it out there. And not every piece of content that you're going to create is going to be a grand slam right out of the the gate. It just isn't. I have that. Not every piece is going to be great, but what I am proud of is that I've got this body of content that makes sense to me, that I know is going to help people who come to my website. So really, I get out of worrying whether or not I'm going to get 1,000 views on YouTube. People are going to comment on it and things like that. I really think about who I'm serving, what pieces of content I have out there, is it good content, and how am I going to use it? Okay, so I want you to write that down, because it's a better way to think about it. And let me give you an example. One of my clients, we have this piece of content, and it was published around 2015. So it's 7 years old. And this piece of content shows up every single month as the top piece of content. And it's all about terminating employees after the age of 40. So you just never know. She didn't even know until I started tracking her numbers and telling her this. Now, my other client, Todd Krieger, he has a video that he did in 2015 about dysfunctional families. It's had almost 600,000 views over on YouTube. It still gets views every single day. It's crazy how sometimes these pieces, you just don't know what's going to be the top thing. But how would you know if you never did it and you never put it out there, right? So what's important to know is that I want you to pinpoint and correct why you're not, and I've done this myself, consistent in the first place. So today, I'm going to share 4 reasons why we're not consistent in your content. So you can apply these these tips I'm going to give you with each one and everywhere of your business, not just in your content creation. So let's just go through the 4 points I'm going to cover today. One is that you're lacking a purpose. Number 2, you don't have systems. Number 3, you're in overwhelm. Well, gosh, who isn't at times, right? And number 4, you're not getting results. Okay. And then when I'm done with those 4 points, I'm going to answer 2 questions I get. One is, how do I stay motivated and consistent, right, in my own content creation? I'm going to tell you my tips on that. And then I'm going to tell you what platforms and kind of like my methodology that keeps me where I know I'm going to get the biggest bang for my buck, and how easy and fast it is for me to repurpose a single piece of content so I can really show up in more than one place with the minimal amount of effort. Okay. So before I dive into those details and the questions and the points, I just want to tell you guys, for those of you who are tuning in and haven't heard me before, I am Kristen Poborski, and I help healers, business, and life coaches dial in and implement their content creation and marketing strategy, including course creation, so that they can attract more customers into their practice and really build a business that they love and not have to work these horrendous long hours. Okay. So let me give you a little bit of a backstory. Back in 2014, I really discovered the power of content creation. I was actively looking for solutions to my own personal lack of eyeballs on my content. And I stumbled upon this tool called BuzzSumo that helps content creators discover top performing content. So I had a light bulb moment. I thought, what if I could take those hot topics that I see over there in BuzzSumo and create my own content using those topics? And that's what I decided to do for myself. And then I had a great client, Todd Krieger, who I mentioned before. He allowed me to test this out with him. And here's what happened. After 30 days, we created and published his first piece of content. We started seeing results. Monthly traffic went from 400 views to 1,000 views. And then by month 2, we got even more traction, and his traffic doubled to 2,000 views. And by month 4, it had gone up to over 4,000 views a month. Now, I see that in my own content when I'm out there and I'm consistent and I'm creating new content. It has the effect of doubling my traffic on my website. So I'm getting way more views because I'm actually out there creating and sharing content. Every time in the past where I've gone dormant and I haven't created content, my traffic seems to slow down. And then when I get back on the bandwagon, it goes up and it doubles like within probably 30 days, and it stays that way. So if that doesn't really inspire you to create content and to keep creating content, I don't know what will, because the name of the game is you really want to get eyeballs on your content, and organic eyeballs are way more worth it than comments and engagement on social media. Okay. A lot of people were so tripped up on social media, but really the game is with evergreen content. And then I want to just share like the ripple effect that this has had on Todd's business, because today, at the time he had a dead list, and today his list is he's got a huge list, over 10,000 people on his list. So it really helped him grow his list. His open rate is usually in double digits, right around 20% or higher, because we continue to apply these principles that about hot topics and really knowing what his audience loves. Okay. So it really helps with him with that. His phone rings. He's been able to, every year, I think he's been able to add at least $25,000 to $50,000 to his bottom line, because he's attracting clients into his practice, and he's been able to raise his rates. what is even better, what I love for him is during the lockdown, not a blip. His demand for his services went up during the lockdown. So that's really the nutshell. It's really in a nutshell is what power of content creation can do when it's done right to help you grow your business. So I really want you to get clear that content is really the gateway for people to discover and want to come work with you. And when you do that, you will really start to see how important your content is and getting it right and making sure that it aligns with what you do in your business. So write that down. That's a takeaway. You definitely want to align your content with what you do in your business. Okay. So let's dive into, the first point here, okay? The first reason why you are not consistent with your content creation efforts and you have a lack of purpose or a lack of commitment. So once you really start to see, what I just said about it being the gateway and helping you attract clients, I'm hoping that you're going to say, yeah, I want that too. And that is a great reason to get myself committed to creating content. And if you look at the big names in your industry, those people, they are creating content every single week. They're probably doing a podcast. They're smart. They're doing a video and turning it into a podcast and repurposing it everywhere. And then that content, they take bits and pieces of it and create their social media content from their bigger pieces of content. And they're looking at what's working and what's not working, throwing out what's not working and doing more of what's working. Okay. So that gives you a real purpose, a real reason to doing it. And if you're launching things, you definitely want to have launch runway content that gets people primed to want to come to your webinar or whatever it is you're delivering your launch delivery system is. It could be a webinar, it could be 3-part training, it could be anything, it could be a challenge. People are still doing challenges. So you definitely want to have content that leads up to that and then gets them all excited to want to come to your launch. So again, whether or not it's new people or people on your list, it really is, that's your purpose for creating content because it's your marketing. All right. So the second reason is why you are having a hard time being consistent is that you don't have a system. Okay. That really translates into a lack of consistency. It makes it hard, and you can apply this to pretty much everywhere in your business. And main reason why I am able to create content so consistently and quickly is that I have this thing called the rapid content creation method. And I also have the 12X content repurposing method. I use both of those. I teach them both inside of my Smart Simple Content Marketing program. And it helps myself, my clients, my students stay organized. They've got a plan. They know exactly what steps to go through to create the content, what form to do it in, and then how to repurpose it. So here's what I basically do. I have a plan I follow. I batch create my scripts, and I don't write a huge long script. It's just an outline. I'm following an outline right here as I'm filming this. And then I batch create my videos. I schedule time. I batch create, sit down, bang out. Probably in 2 hours, I can do 4 to 6 videos, right? When that's done, I batch my images and edit my videos following a very, very simple process. I don't get fancy and I do not overproduce my content. All the videos that we've had a ton of success are not overly produced, okay? Not overly produced, not perfect. Those are the ones that do the best. And then from there, I have a plan in place that takes that edited video, publishes it, and repurposes it using my content 12x multiplier system. So let me ask you a question now that you're listening to this, and we're on topic number 2 or point number 2. If you had a plan in place, would you be able to create content consistently? So think about that. All right. All right. So number 3 is you're in overwhelm because you're trying to be in too many places all at once from day one. This is one of the biggest mistakes people make. The pressure to be on social media, and not just one platform, but many of them, from TikTok to Instagram to YouTube and beyond. And my advice, especially if you're starting out, is to pick 2 places where you can post content that will help drive evergreen content. Evergreen, not Facebook, where your post might be gone in an hour. Now, you can definitely do that, but you want to make sure that you're getting the biggest bang from your content creation efforts. And once you figure out a couple places that you want to put it that will help you drive that evergreen traffic, then once you get those under your belt, you can start branching out and creating content in other places. One of the things that we teach inside of our content, Smart Simple Content Marketing program, is how to automate all of this. So you create one piece of content, and then we teach you how to organize it and how to put it into these systems where your content gets scheduled and gets rotated out there for you 24/7 so that you don't have to do it yourself. So that is one way to get out of overwhelm, be seen on multiple platforms without having to redo the work with you all the time. Okay. So the next one is you're not getting results, or your results are not really great. Well, here's the thing. You might have the wrong plan, or you're not checking your numbers. Now, that's the 2 things. It's like when people come in to work with me or into any of my programs, they usually don't have a plan in place. They kind of do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, whatever comes to their mind. That's what they just create content on. And a lot of times it has nothing to do with their business. So you can still, like, if you think you want to do mindset and certain things, you can, but it needs to relate back to what you're doing in your business. So if I was going to talk about mindset, it would be mindset around content creation or creating programs or whatever else, other kind of topic categories I have. So that could be definitely, usually is the first thing that we fix inside my program, is we create a content plan that aligns with what you do in your business, but it also hits on hot topics that we know that people are interested in, but you come at it with your own point of view. We don't copy what other people do, but we take these topics and use them as idea generators that you use to create your content. Okay. Then key to this is to track those numbers, because you might be surprised at what's the top hot topics, right? You don't know unless you look at the numbers, and they never lie. And I've seen this time and time again, morph into huge things. A good example, again, is Todd Krieger. He's a marriage and family therapist. We discovered that infidelity was a huge topic with his audience, okay? And how that really impacted him was it really, we started creating more content around that. So we had a great body of work on his site. We use it all over in his marketing and things like that. And this, it really started attracting people to want to work with him. And it even got him a spot on Oprah's show, where he coached some couples on TV who were dealing with infidelity. So you just never know, without looking at those numbers, what might be a hot topic that you could turn into a premier service. It could lead to other opportunities. It might be something that you create a program around if you want to do an online course. Okay. So those are reasons, the 4 reasons why people are not consistent, because you get frustrated because you're not doing these things. So I really want to ask you right now, are you ready to take action on one of these 4 topics that I'm talking about here, these 4 tips? And my advice really here is to probably take one piece and so that you can really get your message out there into the world. And the first place I always tell people to start is looking at your content plan. And if you need help, I've got this great content creators roadmap, and I've got the link down below, and it's going to tell you the steps that you need to follow so that you can stop procrastinating and get your content out the door. Okay, so the link is below in the notes. Okay, so let's dive into today's question. I've got 2 questions I'm going to answer. So how do I stay motivated and consistent? Okay. So again, I have the rapid content creation system that I have set up for myself. I have a plan, and then I repurpose my content. Okay. So those are how I really stay motivated and consistent, is having this plan. But I also have time block, where I have an accountability group, focus group, work group that I work in, and that is my time where I create my content, okay? And I've got it down to a system, and it's such an easy system to follow that I pretty much get everything written and edited during those times, and then in between I go and create, I actually go and film things, okay? So it really helps me to stay motivated and consistent when I've got a plan, and I've got a focus group that I know during these 4 hours a month, I'm working on only content creation. Plus, I know it's a very important way for me to get eyeballs on my content and share my message in a bigger way. Okay, so question number 2 is, what platforms do I focus on so that I don't get myself overwhelmed? Okay, so first of all, you're watching me, you're either watching this video or you're listening to me on a podcast. So those are 2 places that I go now because they're great ways to get evergreen traffic. So I'm on YouTube. So I create a video, I put it on YouTube, I actually quickly repurpose it into a podcast. It's very easy to do that. So that goes on another place. Again, great source of evergreen traffic, and it goes to my blog. And from there, I do simple sharing out on social media, and then I take it and I do rotate it out there. I've been on social media a long time, but if I was going to start today, I'd start out small, probably for sure with YouTube and a podcast, because they're just so easy and great ways to get your message out there. And I would pick Facebook and Instagram, but you really got to look and see where your audience is and test it out and see where you're getting the most traction with your content. So you might want to pick Facebook and Instagram and test them out and seeing where you're gaining followers and getting traction with your content. And again, the most important thing to remember is to really focus on video content because it's easily repurposable and it's a great way to share your message out in the world. And again, remember to go down there in the notes, grab that content roadmap. It's going to help you know exactly what steps you need to follow so that you can get your content done and out on social media fast. All right. So that's it for today. And I hope you take one of my 4 tips here, 4 reasons, really think about it and pick one and get into action.
You've been listening to the Profitable Content Creator Podcast, where content creators go to learn how to take their content creation to the next level. If you love the Profitable Content Creator Podcast, we'd love for you to subscribe, rate, and give us a review on iTunes. Until next time.